He activated his charm the same way when he used the daze skill. Now all he needed to do was project the thought strongly, using his mind of aiming to punch the head, while the real punch would come from below. Everything was going perfect so far, and he could imagine hitting the person in the head. Then his fist made contact, but instead of receiving feedback from hitting the body, the punch had been blocked with the other user's hand, which was guarding his face. "No, I thought I did it perfectly. Why did my attack go for the head?" Quinn thought. Quinn previously thought he had perfected the phantom punch, but using it with no opponent and using it against a real opponent were two different things. With the pressure to perform perfectly, and with the enemy standing in front of him, his concentration lagged at some point, so his attack failed. With one of his other hands, the water user blasted a stream, hitting Quinn right in the stomach, sending him onto the floor. Due to his usage of Flash Step multiple times in a fight, he was tired, and his movements were a little sluggish. It also seemed like the beast equipment had given his opponent some extra strength. A blow from Quinn was more powerful than from a normal person, yet he was able to block it perfectly. Quinn quickly got up from the ground and attacked again, but unfortunately the result was same. Quinn ended up on the ground once again. "What is he doing?" Nate said. "Why isn't he using his red aura skills, or the hammer strike? Why did he waste all his energy using that fancy footwork at the beginning? Even then, why a punch to the head without using any feints or tricks to confuse the enemy?" Nate was thoroughly confused as to why the person he had watched improving each time he played a match and fought against someone had seemingly made no progress at all in this fight. He seemed to be suffering a setback. Eventually, the match had ended, and Quinn unsurprisingly lost. Nate was speechless. He thought he was the only person who had beaten the Blood Evolver before, and the one he knew now was a lot stronger than before. Nate wanted him to remain undefeated until their rematch. If the Blood Evolver had lost in a grand duel or something, he wouldn't be so upset, but he had lost against a simple level 4 water user. During the match, Quinn felt something near to the end of the battle he had felt earlier while practicing. "Matchmaking is in progress." Once again, Quinn went into the next match. Nate stayed and watched carefully, but it seemed to be nearly an exact copy of the last game. After watching 4 matches, the Blood Evolver had lost 4 times in a row. Nate wasn't the only one who had been watching Quinn's matches. There were a few others who had become fans as well, and they were nearly just as disappointed as him with the results they were seeing right now. "Does this mean that he was just a hacker?" a spectator said. "I guess so. They probably patched the game so he can't use his red aura skills anymore. Without them, it's clear that he's just average when it comes to hand-to-hand combat," another one commented. This was the logical conclusion the others had come to. No one would usually lose a match without giving it everything they got, and in the last 4 games, Quinn didn't use a single skill other than the Flash Step and the failed Phantom Punch. "Come on, Nate, let's go. We need to practice, man. We're just wasting time here," Sam said. "You go ahead. I'll catch up and head offline when he goes offline." Sam could see the disappointment on Nate's face. It was as if he had just watched his favorite superhero lose to a villain in a fight. The only thing he could do now was give him some space. After losing 5 matches in a row, the only person that kept on watching Blood Evolver's matches was Nate. He didn't know why, but he felt that there had to be a reason for all the strange actions that Blood Evolver did in the past matches. The reason for his thinking was the fact that Quinn had lost every game doing the same thing. Only an idiot would do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Even if he was now unable to use the red aura anymore, it didn't make any sense. As the next match started, Quinn now looked more confident than he did before. He knew he was incredibly close. His opponent was a female. The ability for now was unknown, as the inspection skill didn't work in-game. Quinn rushed forward as usual, but this time, no attacks were aimed at him. When this happened, it usually meant the person he was going up against had a transformation or hardening ability, the perfect opponent for the Phantom Strike. Quinn lifted his fist and aimed for the woman's head. As she saw the punch, a large spike appeared on her face. If Quinn was to carry on moving forward, then the spike would go right through his hand. She could see the punch rushing forward and about to go through the spike. A smile appeared on her face, but suddenly she felt pain in her stomach as she keeled over. Phantom punch skill successfully learned. The fist hadn't hit her head, but struck her stomach instead. This time, Quinn went for a blow to the stomach. A spike was formed where the punch would make contact, but then sharp pain assaulted the woman on the side of her head. Quinn continued using the phantom punch in this fashion, successfully landing hit after hit, while on the outside, Nate, who was watching the entire thing, was deeply confused. All he could see was Quinn's opponent forming spikes and blocking the attacks in the wrong places. It was clear where the punches were coming from, so why was she constantly blocking in the wrong place? The match had finally ended, and Quinn had been declared the winner, but Nate was even more confused now. However, after watching the Blood Evolver's next 3 games, and each one of them coming out in a victory in the same fashion, goosebumps started to appear all over his body. The hairs on his forearms were now standing up. He still didn't understand what was going on, but it was painfully obvious that all of these were done on purpose. Who is this monster? Once the system had confirmed Quinn that he had learned Phantom Punch, everything got a lot easier from then onwards. Instead of concentrating on the feeling like he did before, now all he had to do was think about the skill, and his mind would automatically do the work for him. It was one of the other perks of having the system. No longer would he fail sometimes while trying to create the punch. It would now work 100% of the time. This was the same as when he learned the Crescent Blood Kick as well. This didn't mean it would work successfully on his opponent 100% of the time, though. It was just that he was now able to perform the skill successfully every time. In the next matches Quinn played, while using the skill he had learned quite a bit about how the skill worked. Just like the system had said, there were some opponents the skill was less effective against. Quinn couldn't figure out why, as it didn't seem to be linked with the user's ability level. Most likely it was more to do with their mental ability. For some of the opponents he faced, it seemed like they were only partly tricked. On their end, they would see the Phantom Punch, but it would disappear before it made a contact. While for those with weaker minds, it felt like they could feel the Phantom Punch hitting them. Still, even a slight phantom image gave Quinn a huge advantage. The constant use of the punches on top of his speed made his opponents feel like they were fighting against someone with extra hands. Now he understood why the blonde man had said the skill would improve as he improved both his agility stat along with his charm stat. 180 of 400 EXP. After defeating the 5 opponents, Quinn had obtained 10 experience points from each of them. It wasn't his goal, but a bonus along the way of learning the new skill. He also got 10 points for completing his daily quests, drinking 2 liters of water daily along with avoiding the sun for 8 hours. But still, out of everything so far, the quickest way to level up was defeating beasts.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.